Did you know that one letter changed the course of history forever? Join us as we uncover Christopher Columbus's discoveries and the surprising tales he shared upon his return to Spain. In the late 15th century, Europe was in the midst of a period of exploration and discovery. The Spanish crown was eager to expand its influence and wealth, competing with other European powers to find new trade routes and territories. Christopher Columbus, a Genoese navigator, aimed to find a western route to Asia, which was rich in spices and resources that were highly sought after. Columbus believed that by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean, he could reach the East Indies and open new opportunities for trade. Columbus approached Queen Isabella I of Castile and King Ferdinand II of Aragon with his proposal. After much skepticism and numerous rejections, the royal couple finally agreed to sponsor his expedition. Columbus departed from Palos de la Frontera on August 3, 1492, with 3 ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Their journey was fraught with uncertainty, as the crews faced fears of the unknown and limited supplies. After nearly 3 months at sea, on October 12, 1492, Columbus and his crew made landfall on an island in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador. This marked the beginning of the European exploration of the Americas. Columbus mistakenly believed he had found a new route to Asia, claiming the land for Spain. He continued to explore nearby islands, including Cuba and Hispaniola, where he encountered indigenous peoples, whom he referred to as Indians. As Columbus explored, he learned about the Arawak people and noted their generosity and hospitality. He described them in his journals as peaceful and friendly, exchanging gold for worthless trinkets. However, they also shared tales of fierce tribes, which Columbus dismissed as rumors. His eagerness to present favorable accounts to the Spanish monarchy motivated these descriptions, as Columbus sought support for further expeditions into these new lands. Columbus's initial voyage concluded with his return to Spain in March 1493, presenting a mixture of triumph and exaggeration. Upon his return, he created a letter detailing his discoveries and adventures aboard the Niña. This letter was to play a crucial role in spreading news of his findings to the Spanish court and beyond. Columbus's accounts not only claimed the discovery of new lands, but also suggested Spain's potential for wealth and prosperity. As the Niña sailed back to Spain, Columbus faced an unexpected challenge. On February 14, 1493, a fierce storm off the Azores caused chaos on board, threatening the ship and crew. This storm forced Columbus to redirect to Lisbon, where he would later dispatch his crucial letter. He understood the importance of informing the Spanish monarchs about his discoveries as quickly as possible. Finally reaching Lisbon on March 4, 1493, Columbus was determined to present his achievements to the Catholic monarchs. He quickly recovered from the treacherous journey and immediately began drafting copies of his letter, knowing the significance of his findings. This letter was more than just a report. It was a bold proclamation meant to capture the interest and support of Spain's monarchy. Columbus's letter announced not only his discoveries, but also painted a picture of potential wealth and opportunity in the New World. He exaggerated the size and richness of the islands, claiming lands such as Hispaniola were more extensive than Spain itself. In his letter, he aimed to impress the rulers with grandiose ideas of gold and spices, guaranteeing future support for another expedition. In addition to describing the natural beauty and resources, Columbus included details about the Arawak people he encountered. He depicted them as peaceful, generous individuals who willingly traded gold for trinkets. However, he also mentioned local stories of fearsome tribes, which he chose to downplay, focusing instead on the potential for converting the Arawaks to Christianity. With 2 copies of the letter in hand, Columbus felt the weight of history as he prepared to send them to Ferdinand and Isabella. He knew that this communication would not only publicize his discoveries, but also secure the future of his expeditions. Soon enough, printed versions of his letter would spread rapidly across Europe, igniting an era of exploration and conquest. When Columbus's letter reached Spain, it triggered a wave of excitement and curiosity across Europe. News of his discoveries spread like wildfire, reaching not only the Spanish monarchy, but also merchant class, scholars, and explorers in other countries. People were fascinated by the idea of new lands filled with wealth and opportunity, leading to an insatiable desire for exploration. The printed versions created a buzz that resonated throughout marketplaces and courtrooms, changing the perception of the world forever. The letter described lands so enticing that many individuals began to dream of their own expeditions. Scholars and cartographers rushed to create new maps, placing newly discovered islands in their rightful positions. Other European monarchies, particularly Portugal, grew increasingly anxious about the potential Spanish claims to these lands. This created an immediate rivalry among European powers as they prepared for competition in colonization and trade. As the excitement spread, Columbus's tales of wealth and the promise of conversion of native peoples to Christianity brought more support to his cause. Clergy, merchants, and noblemen began backing further expeditions. Columbus had effectively painted a picture of a potential paradise and endless riches, igniting the imaginations and ambitions of many. His portrayal of the Arawaks as generous and eager for friendship fueled further interest in establishing Spanish settlements. Before long, conversations turned into plans. The Spanish monarchs recognized the opportunity for immense wealth and aimed for the quick establishment of a foothold in the New World. Within a few months, Columbus prepared for a second voyage to ensure Spain's dominance in the region. His earlier voyages had already paved the way for what would become the expansive colonization of the Americas. The consequences of Columbus's discoveries were profound and long-lasting. His voyage led to the establishment of new trade routes and the exploitation of the resources found in the Americas. The letter, which was meant to merely inform the monarchs, instead ignited a race for colonization that would reshape the world for centuries to come. Explorers from other countries soon followed, seeking their fortunes and, perhaps more perilously, the subjugation of native peoples. As Columbus prepared for his second voyage, the Catholic monarchs were intrigued by the possibilities his discoveries presented. The letter's sensational claims about vast riches encouraged Ferdinand and Isabella to finance a larger expedition, raising a fleet designed for colonization and expansion. They believed that establishing settlements would not only secure Spanish interests, but also spread Christianity among the indigenous people, fulfilling their religious goals. On September 24, 1493, Columbus set sail for the New World once more, this time commanding a fleet of 17 ships carrying around 1,200 men. The journey was filled with excitement, as hopes were high for establishing a stronghold on the islands that had captured their imagination. This expedition aimed to build upon the previous discoveries and solidify Spain's claim over these lands. Upon reaching Hispaniola, Columbus was determined to implement his vision for colonization. He ordered the construction of a settlement, which he named La Navidad, on the very site where his flagship, the Santa Maria, had wrecked. He left behind some of his crew, hoping this outpost would serve as a base for further exploration and a foothold for the Spanish crown. However, Columbus's second voyage was not without challenges. The relationship with the indigenous Arawaks deteriorated over time due to misunderstandings and conflicts over resources. While Columbus had initially portrayed them as generous, the arrival of numerous Spanish settlers and the demands for tribute began to strain this relationship. Some Arawaks resisted Spanish control, leading to tensions on the island. As more European explorers arrived inspired by Columbus's reports, the repercussions of his discoveries multiplied. The Spanish crown began to assert its dominance over the Arawaks, often implementing harsh systems of labor and tribute. The exploitation of resources and the desire for wealth fueled an age of colonization that would lead to devastating consequences for indigenous populations across the Americas.